So, hi everyone, let me open. Hi everyone, good evening. Let's wait for 2-3 minutes before we kickstart this session. See if things are perfectly fine on LinkedIn or not. Yes, we are live on LinkedIn too. Okay. Okay. We're live on LinkedIn too. Let me mute from here. So good evening, everyone. Welcome back again to Analytics with Anand. So today's class, I have kept a bit late because of my meeting, and this is a very, very interesting the project which we're gonna do quickly in 1 hour. And everyone, those who wants to enter into the data engineering field or those who are already working, they want to revamp their resume. Straight away, you can go ahead and write this in your resume. So this should be your first project in Matillion and Snowflake, which you will be talking to the stakeholders, which will be talking in the interview. Code file, document, everything we have given to you. So you can see the description of this video, and also I'll share the screen and showcase it to you. Right. So today's class is all about how you can track any Matillion users, those who are working as a part of the project. Say, for example, you are allocated to a project and you are working along with 10 other members. If the manager of the project wants to track what all the 10 members teams are doing on a day-to-day basis, which query they are running it, which transformation they are running it, which orchestration job they are creating it, how much time is it creating, who is the user, which version, which environment they are running, everything, the entire audit report will be handy, and we will be dumping that in the form of Snowflake table. And also I'll show you the Power BI report, how you can customize it and enhance the user experience, right? So this is the entire project which will encompass your Snowflake and Matillion ETL tool. We will explore the power of Matillion and how the auditing can be done in real time. So before wasting any time, let me directly share my screen and let's kick started. Right. So as you know, these are the part of the Matillion series. You can also go and enroll in my Master the Art of Extract, Transform, and Load with Matillion, complete ETL. So if you have 3 years of experience, if you are in the data analytics industry, Matillion is the tool which you should aim for. This will be the completely live. We have kickstarted this course. So you can go ahead and you can join directly. Okay. And then entire Matillion from complete scratch till depth I will be teaching you here. So you can see entire syllabus of Matillion I have given here, right? And we are dealing Matillion in complete in-depth. Even the AI part also will be dealt in great detail, right? Already the previous batch I have taken, which you can see it here. If I show you my courses on Matillion, how many batches we have done so far: January 2025, August 2023, August 3 batches already completed in the last 3 years. August 2023, if you see how many recordings you find, you will find 15 recordings here, right? Then if you see in the August 2024 cohort batch, how many recordings are there? 25. 12 recordings are there, right? And if you see the current batch, January 2025 code, so we have taken 5 sessions. So you can be a part of this. Already this project I have done for them. So I'm doing this for the community purpose. So implement this, write it in your resume, and it will showcase it to the stakeholders. Okay. It will really, really add value to your portfolio. Okay. So where are the files are located for this project? So you have to go to this link, which I have given in the description. From there, you can see entire project file, PDF, JSON file, everything I have given. So the link has been given in the description of this video. You can go and find it. Also, if you cannot find it, you can go to my Matillion, you can go to my repository, Anand 90. You click on the repository, click on this Master the Art of Extract, Transform, Load with Matillion, and you will have end-to-end project here, right? Matillion API Logger, Matillion API Logger, right? So this is the entire documentation, everything which you are seeing right on my screen. Let me show you the output, exactly what this project all about. Clearly, then you will get a clear-cut idea on what you are trying to do in today's session. Let me show you, right, directly, right? So what we will be doing, any functionality, any orchestration job, any transformation job, which you run it in the Snowflake, which you run it in Matillion. You have created any, say for example, this entire workflow, right? XYZ from your version. Suppose right now I'm in the version Suraj, right? How many versions? How many team members we have? We have Dev Anand, Dev Anamika, Dev Suraj. 3 versions I have created. That means 3 people are collaborating in this project. I want to know what Anand is doing on a day-to-day basis. What all job is he running? What Anamika is doing on a day-to-day basis? What job she is running? What Suraj is doing on a day-to-day basis? All these things you can track in the form of Snow table dynamically, right, with the help of Matillion API Logger project, which we are discussing it today. Let me show you the complete output. How does it look? Right. So this is the file. So if I run this, I'll show you the final table. Yes, you see here. Let me expand it. Yes. So this is the entire log timestamp, what time the user has logged in. What is the login time? How many days duration the orchestration or transformation job run? Which was the component this person has used? Whether he was working on create table, table output, right? Delete table, what all he has done. Which environment is he or she is working on? Which database is he or she is working on? Which schema is he or is working on? And what is the job name? Which job that particular person ran? What was the job nature of the job type? Whether it was an orchestration job, transformation job, whether the task was scheduler or run job, what was the scenario and where was the path, right? Where was that particular path, from which project group, which project name, and what was the path which has executed? Who was the user, right? What was the endpoint, which environment of Snowflake that particular user has entered, and what is the SQL command that particular person has rerun? Right, everything you will get to know. This is called a logging project. Now you must be having this question in mind. Sir, already we have, Anand, already we have, if you go into the monitoring tab, already we have a query history type. Why don't you track it from here? You just plant all user allocated. Guys, this is for the Snowflake. We are not tracking what users are doing in the Snowflake. We are tracking on day-to-day basis what users are doing in Matillion environment. Which all transformation job, which all orchestration job are the users running? So why we are doing this project? Because so that we can tap which transformation job is effective. Is my pipeline is effective or not? All those scenario, I will keep a tab here. Getting my point? All those scenario, I will keep a tab here. Right? Snowflake query history will give you about the Snowflake, about the Snowflake users. Matillion query history, this project you can tell about, it's a kind of Matillion query history. That's why it talks about master SQL logging completely with the help of Matillion. We are tapping the Matillion user. You see here, Dev Anand, Dev Suraj, Suraj Development, Dev Anamika, all this we are tapping it, Dev Anamika. Getting my point? All this we are tapping. These are not Snowflake users. These are Matillion users. These are Matillion users. How do you identify Matillion users? With the help of their version. If you go to the managed version, this managed version is nothing about the environment. If I'm a new member, I'm coming to the this company, a version will be created for me. So I will be working in my version. Suraj will be working in his version. Anand will be working in his version. And Amika will be working in his version. You can also create one version. Suppose I'm a new person. I will create Dev_test. Right? Correct? I'm in this version. Now I can switch back to this version. Do you see any job here? No, nothing job I have run. right? So I will rerun this job. I will rerun any of the job, whatever I want. I'm not configured this. So any of the job, I will run it. So it will tap for this user. Dev test is nothing but a user. What this user is doing on a real time, on a day-to-day basis, right? On a day-to-day basis. Then you can implement the scheduler. You can implement the scheduler here, right? You can implement the scheduler here, and accordingly, anytime, suppose manager of the company wants, Anand, Monday morning, I need a full-fledged dashboard. I need a full-fledged dashboard. Who is running query for the maximum time? And here is your beautiful Power BI report. Entire picture will be ready. You don't have to do anything. Let the user run the Snowflake. Let them do whatever they want. Let them run. They cannot fool you, right? So entire thing, whatever, what scheduler will do. So at Sunday 11:30, Asia Kolkata, I've given the time zone. At Sunday, whatever the project which we are going today, it will run it. It will run it, and it will pick from that environment, right? Whichever I have configured, who are the users and what all tasks they have accomplished. Who are the user who is consuming maximum amount of duration, which you see it here, which you see it here right now. Anand is consuming more, right? 60 seconds. These all times are in 60 seconds. Most of my job is I am covering majority of the region. And Amika is covering only 8 seconds, and Suraj is covering only 9 seconds. In this way, you can keep a tab of entire thing. Getting my point? In this way, you can keep a tab of the entire thing, right? This is how you will tap it, and you will create a full-fledged dashboard, and entire process you can automate it. So understood the project? What exactly we are doing it? Right? What exactly we are doing it? So before wasting any time, let me open the document and let me tell you what exactly is doing. The first important thing here, Anand, how you are tapping all this information. Anand, how you are tapping all this information. So we are tapping all this information with the help of API. Now, what is this API? So do you see this URL? Everyone see this URL? HTTPS 18.232.72.168. This is your port number, which we have configured with the help of AWS. This is the port number which we have configured with the help of AWS, and we have launched Matillion from EC2 instance. So this is the public IPv4 address, right? This is the public IPv4 address. Then what is this? Hashtag Learn Matillion. Hashtag Learn Matillion is your project group. Now, the first time when you will be launching Matillion, those who are very new to it, let me tell you, you have to create a project group. So project group is Learn Matillion. What is this Practice Matillion? Anand, Practice Matillion is my project name. Project name. And who is the person who is doing this? Dev_Anand. Dev_Anand. This is the version. Dev_Anand. And which environment that person is? AWS. AWS. Right? This is the environment I have created it. I'll show it to you. What is this environment? So AWS is the environment. I have given my account, Snowflake credentials, username. The direct one Snowflake account is there. Everyone using the same. So this is the username which you will be seeing it. Password I have given it. And then which is the warehouse I am using? Demo warehouse, demo database, demo schema. That means if I want to track what all things are happening in the demo schema on a day-to-day basis, I can keep a track of this. And I don't have to run this job. That will be taken care by my scheduler. That will be taken care by my scheduler. Okay. That will be taken care by my scheduler. If you see it here, I have already enabled the scheduler here. Manage schedule. I have just ran it. So you see this. Every Sunday, you can configure it any time, whichever your manager or your company wants. Sunday 11:30, I have configured. So Sunday 11:30, it will go to the job and it will trigger that job. So whatever the information, and it will pull fire you. Right? See this. Round 23rd, 30. Click on OK. When is the next one? Next one is on 9th March. Every Sunday 11:30. And it has been enabled status. Now let me walk through you the project. Right? Let me walk through the project. Entire PDF is given to you. So let me quickly come here. Yes. So this is the source where I've kept it. So what exactly we are doing it? We have a pair of Matillion jobs, one orchestration jobs and one transformation jobs. Orchestration job is visible in blue color. Transformation job is visible in green color. That will maintain a table of the SQL executed by Matillion ETL, not by the Snowflake, because in Snowflake you have a query history. So this is the Matillion audit logging. We are doing an audit logging of the entire Matillion. We are saving the logs in the Snowflake table, right? And that Snowflake table we are connecting to the Power BI, and you develop a full-fledged nice dashboard which will be able to see this, right? So what exactly is this project? So first of all, we has to configure an API. We has to configure here API. What is that? So what you have to do, you have to go to the project. You have to go to manage API profile, manage extract profile. JSON file already I have given to you. Just download that. JSON file already I have given to you. Just download that. This is the API. API already I have given to you. You just need to configure it. So you'll just download this. Right? Just download this API and click on import file, browse it, and Matillion API is here. See this. Correct? You have this Matillion API. I have already done that. That's why it's showing some error. This default compression, I've already exported it. Right? Just export it, it will work. I've already exported it. Next part comes is the configuration. Next part comes is the configuration. This is the important configuration which we have to see. Let's explore one by one. Let's explore one by one. So we are creating this entire project with the help of API. Client will be giving you the API, and this is my API, and kindly configure this. Right? Client won't give you directly the URL and everything. Client will give you the API of your Matillion interface. Whosoever is the head of the data engineering, it's his or her responsibility to configure all of this. We have something called endpoint. I'm giving as a lineage, short description. Then click on next. Here it will come the authentication part. Now we'll go with the basic authentication. What is the username? Username have to give to Matillion user, EC2 user, which we know. And password is your instance ID, which you have to paste it from here. Password is your instance ID, which you have to paste it from here. Once you have done, then comes your parameter. Now, these are the most important thing. What is the URL? What is the URL? See this. So you will be having HTTP. You have to place it in curly bracket URL, parameter. Parameter will get passed from here. What is this? This is my Anand port number, which you have told. Just give it to it. Then you will give the project group. Project group. What is the project group? Whichever project group you are part of, clearly it is visible here. Learn Matillion. Then you have to give the project name. What is the project name? Project name is Practice Matillion. Again in curly bracket. We don't hard code it. You might be thinking why you have not hard coded. No, that's not the way we do it in the company. Right? We pass with the help of parameter. Later on, if the project changes, I just have to change this value. Environment, which environment, Anand, I will be tracking? Suppose we are in the dev environment, test environment, production. So consider this as a production environment. Right? AWA_AWS. Start timestamp, you can leave it as it is. You can leave it as it is. By default it is. So these will come from the query. And this will come from the parameter, URI. Right? These are the URI and this will come from the query. What does query mean? We'll see it. Right? Then you have to click on authorization. Once you have specified, click on get and see the magic. 1 second. Parameter. Basic authorization EC2-U. I missed EC2. My bad. See this. Entire JSON file is getting what it is doing in the URL in that environment. Whosoever is doing anything on a day-to-day basis, entire thing it is tracking. See this log timestamp, right? Which job, right? Demo schema, URL of your Snowflake, database, which database I'm in, who is the user, Snowflake user, and the connection option. Or this log file, usually it is stored in the form of semi-structured data. It's in the form of JSON file. Click on validate, click on validate, click on next, and you are good with it. Click on next, and we are done. Right? So this is the entire URL. This is the main thing. With the help of API, we are tracking all the information. So once you have exported this, click on just finish. Once you have exported this, click on just finish and click on OK. Right? Click on OK. That's it. Then comes the real project. You have to open this, co-locate, lineage, SQL metadata. Let's understand this. Now let's understand the project. Let's understand the project, what's it's all about. Let's understand the project. So we have two files. One is the orchestration file and one is the orchestration file and one is the transformation file. First of all, you will say, Anand, since we are storing this in the form of table, we need a table, right guys? We are storing it in the form of table. You're storing the database name, you're storing the SQL user, you're storing the SQL script, you're storing the component name, start date and definitely I need a table. So I will create a table, right? I will create a table. I have created a table already. So I will create a table with all the columns which I need on the audit table. Audit table, I need the job name, job type, task type, dialect, who is the user, SQL endpoint, all this information I want. So I have created a table. Next, once I have created a table, I will use a component called query result to scalar. What it will do, so it will check it will check for the user maximum log timestamp. What is the latest? If I am a user, when the last time he or she logged into the Matillion UI? What is the function of max will do? Maximum logs, latest timestamp. If the user has not logged into that day, what it will throw? It will just feed the values with 1 with 6 milliseconds. So this is basically nothing but 100 milliseconds, 1000 milliseconds. Okay, so it is feeding the value as 1 with some random value I'm giving it. If the user has not logged into the system, it will feed the values 1 with 60. Else what? If the user has logged into the system, maximum of log timestamps plus 1, I am adding it to the second. Plus 1 second, I am adding it, right? To remove any ambiguity. And as log timestamp, right? From ODS lineage log. So the table I have created it, and then I am creating the statement in this one, and accordingly I am creating whether the user has logged into the Matillion UI or not. So once this is done, you can see the sample. Now no one has logged in. I ran the query before, so this is the timestamps in microsecond, whatever you can understand, right? Okay, then once you have this, there are certain things called, you can right click and set the job variable. Never ever feed the value in the Matillion UI directly. So what is the job variable which we have created here? So we have API password, API username, timestamp, and the staging bucket name. Why we have provided this, I will tell you. API password will always be your instance ID. API password will always be your instant ID. API username will always be your Matillion username. Do not give the Snowflake username. Even I have referred this in the documentation. If you see, kindly do not give the Snowflake username. Clearly, I have mentioned this in the documentation nicely. Just have a look here. So don't mention the Snowflake username. See this. Give EC2 user and instance ID for user password combination. Okay. So don't give any Snowflake username and password. Right. So we have the API username. This is a Matillion ETL user that has permission to use the API. Then you have the password, Matillion username password. We have EC2 user and instance ID is the password. Then we have the timestamp. What does it say? You can leave this blank and the job will still run okay. Set it to 1 with 6 zeros if you wish to validate the orchestration job. Then you have something called staging bucket name, where you are saving the stage data, the name of the S3 bucket, which will be used for the staging purpose. Do not use the prefix. We'll see this, right? So first of all, what you have to do, you have to download the API profile, right? You have to download this API profile. Just now I have to see, and you have to go to the Matillion. Just now I have shown you, manage API profile, manage query profile, and then you have to upload it, right? Sorry, manage extract profile, my bad. Manage API profile, manage export profile, and upload that particular JSON file. Once upload, you have to just configure it, which just now I have shown you. Give your username, give your environment details, give your project group, give your project name, and give your URL, whatever URL you have fed it. Once it is done, validate it, and then click on manage job variable and satisfy this value. Which is the bucket I'm using it? I'm using the Matillion class. Let me show you that bucket. This is the bucket I'm using for my staging purpose. Yeah, this is the bucket. So you have to create an AWS bucket and then this should work, right? This is the staging. See this, right? So this is the bucket I have given it to the Matillion interface. Once you have this, then what is the next one? This is the most important point. Let me revalidate. This is the most important part, API extract. So this will extract with the help of API extract component. This will extract all the SQL executed above the high watermark after the maximum timestamp, right? To make this component validate and then supply valued values for all the private job variables. So click on this. Let me show you the property one by one. So what is the profile? Profile is the one which you just now downloaded it, right? After configuration is automatically data source will come lineage, URI parameters, automatically it will ask you, give the URL, give the project name, give the project group, and give the environment as AWS. Clearly this information is available at the top of your screen, right? At the top of the screen. Correct? At the top of the screen. You have to give this. Once this is done, query parameter, you have to pass it. One parameter I am passing start timestamp. Where it is taking it? It is taking from the job variable. Initially, it will take 1 million. After that, it will keep on taking the last because you are taking the max. So it will keep on taking it. So once I have taken this, right, header parameter, we don't have to give. Now username. Yes. Username, it is taking from there. Now password. Here you have to remember, you cannot use variable in a password. If you use the variable, you see this, what will happen. In this API extract, it is not allowing you to take the password. PWD, I see, password. See this. If I click on OK, it is giving me error. Unrecognized password. You have to hard code here. You have to hard code the password. How you will hard code the password? Go to the manage API. I have coded here. Matillion instance password. Just click on plus sign. Give the password name Matillion instance password. Keep it internal, and password will be your instance ID. Password always will be your instance ID. Feed it here. Right? Feed it here. Make it encoded. Save OK. I have already done. Now in the API extract, now you uncheck the variable and select that Matillion instance password and click on OK. Okay, and then click on OK. Do not hard code it. Do not hard code it, otherwise it won't work. Right? Do not hard code it, otherwise it won't work. Right? Sorry, do not use the variable, otherwise it won't work. Right? Just hard code it in the form of save it, go to the manage password, click on the plus sign and give the password here. Password is always your instance ID. I'm repeating it again and again. So I will just select my password. Yes, that's it. Page limit I have given one. Now location of your S3 bucket. See this. I have given a variable name. Right? Private staging bucket name. Always variables are used tremendously in the company. So private staging bucket name, because later on I can change my bucket. So never ever hard code it. Always use the variable. So dollar in the bucket name. What is the variable I've given? Matillion class job variable. So it has taken here. Click on OK. Right? Warehouse default. Database default. Schema default. Now this is very, very important. Target table. Target table. Now this target table I have given is a temporary one. I want to create one temporary table here. I want to create one temporary table here. Temp lineage log new. This is a dynamic table. This is not any table which is there in the Snowflake. No, this is a temporary table which I am creating it. If you see here, target table, specify the table to be used. This table will be recreated and any existing table of the same name will be dropped. So basically, this is dynamically it is creating it. Right? I have not created this table in the Snowflake. Dynamically, it will create it for you. Once this is done, now let's come back. You have to run a transformation job here. What does transformation job do? Now, you see this magic. If I run till here, run component, you'll see the magic. Yeah, you got ran. Till there, API extract loaded one page into the table, temporary table. Now, if I go to this transformation job, yes, double click it. This is run transformation component. I have created a transformation job. Now, this is a temporary table. This is a temporary table which I created here. If I go to the sample, you will be able to see few records coming up here. Yes, from the logger file, you see few records coming up here. Right? Now, this is a nested JSON. How do you extract it? I have discussed this in my lecture number 39. So you can use the SQL script. Either you can use the SQL script like this. Let me revalidate and show it to you. Either you can use the SQL script like this. But since we are using a Matillion, it's an ETL tool. We are extracting all this parameter. Refer my lecture number 39 if you don't understand this code. How you can parse a nested JSON file, because all this information is there in the form of JSON, nested JSON. And I have taught clearly with the help of lateral flatten, you can do it. So either you can use the SQL script component, which I usually don't recommend because Matillion is a very no code platform or less code platform. Do not use this, rather than use our extract nested data. Automatically, it will extract all the column for you, whichever you want. Database name, schema name, URL name, connection option, user name, source element name, query, dialect, everything, it will extract it for you. Let me run this and see. How does it look, the sample? Wow, nicely it has extracted. See this? Nicely it has extracted. Component name, Excel query, end timestamp, database name, environment name, schema, environment URL, who is the user. By the way, this user is the Snowflake user, not the Matillion user. Matillion user is the version which I have created. Orchestration, whether it was an orchestration or transformation job. What are the source element, source username, what was the dialect, what was the query which was running behind, what was the target URL, and what is the URL path, and who is the user who has ran this, right? So username is not there. Why username is not there? Because Anand, username is present in your URL path. You have to use a regex. Username is present is the user path. If you see this, here is the username. So how do you extract? So I will use a calculator component. I will use a calculator component. I will extract. By the way, I have not included an input column because if I include the input column, you see what it will give you. If you include the input column, right, it will give you this also, data value, right? Because whenever you are running this project in the temporary table, which you ran it in the API extract, it has created a temporary table at the backend side. I'm deleting it. It has created a temporary table at a backend side, temp lineage log new, and it has inserted whatever record you want in that particular table. You see this? Table. Yeah. You see this? 38 rows are there. Do you see this? All are JSON file. Yeah. All are JSON. Now, JSON has a data type of variant. How do you extract? Lecture number 39. Lecture number 39. Right? But you don't have to go through that also because Matillion has a very wide use case of using, you can have this component called extract nested JSON. Extract nested data. You have a component here, extract nested data. Right? Just drag and place it here. Just drag and place it here. Automatically, it will extract all the component for you. Just keep include input column, no. Yes. Now, then we have a run length. How do you have a run length? You have a calculator component. Now I'm having a start date time. Now, if I divide a start date time, if I divide by 1000, I will get number of seconds. Start date time. When it was started. End date time. 2 timestamp NTZ, no time zone. I have already discussed in my Snowflake playlist. N timestamp divided by 1000. Why I'm dividing by 1000? Because it's a very big number to convert into a second. Then run duration. How do you get run duration? On an end time date time minus start date time. How much duration by querying timestamp difference? Just take a timestamp difference in the form of second from end date time minus start date time. You will get timestamp difference. Then who is the user? This is the regex expression I have used from the URL path. If you see it here, from the URL path, I'll just show you the demo. Yeah. From the URL path, see this. I'm using an expression called regexp substr. Refer my regex playlist. Right? Snowflake playlist regex. Job log job path is there. From that, anytime, Anand. This is called what? Anytime it is starting with a slash. Give me the third parameter. Why, Anand, you are discussing the third parameter? Why you are taking the third parameter? Because, let me tell you why. Because third parameter. Because regex, how does regex works? How does regex works? I'm taking a slash. Anand, this is the first parameter. This is the first parameter. This is the first parameter. This is the second parameter. This is the third parameter. So calculator component, just add a small regex, anything starting with a slash, and take the third parameter of regex substring. Right? Regex substring. I will get the username. I will get the username. So in the calculator component, I have taken this. In the calculator component, I have taken the URL path here, starting with this, and I have taken it back, followed by one or more. What does plus sign indicates? What does plus sign indicates? What does plus sign indicates? I have clearly discussed in the regex. Plus sign indicates one or more. Right? Starting with this, followed by one or more, and give me the third value because my username is there in the third value. So I've taken a calculator component, I have included an input component. If you see the sample here, you will get the username. You will get a username. Yes, Dev Anand is there. Right? Dev Suraj will also be there. Dev Anamika will also be there. All the users will be present now. All the user will be present. Right? All the user will be present. Next, again, I'm taking one calculator component and I'm specifying target endpoint and target user. Just a small case statement. So there is a attribute here called dialect. If my dialect is the Snowflake, then I want that environment URL, Snowflake URL. If my dialect is not Snowflake, then I want the source connection URL. Of course, if your dialect is Snowflake, if your query is running behind in the form of Snowflake, right, then I need the environment URL. Then I need the environment URL, else I need the source connection URL. This is my target endpoint. Then who is my target user? If my dialect is Snowflake, then give me the user, else give me the source username. If you see the JSON file, you will understand it clearly. If you see the JSON file, you will understand it clearly what the us is indicate. Right? Then once you have this last one, this is a type 2 dimension. So usually this incrementally we have to do it. So anytime user is doing, keep adding on, keep adding, keep adding, keep adding, keep adding in the target table ODS lineage log, which we have created. And I have, and the which mode we should go for? We should go with the append mode, right? Just click on append mode. Now what you have to do? Now what you have to do? Just you have to go to the scheduler and schedule this entire job. Manage schedule, manage schedule, manage schedule. I'll go to the scheduler and I will enable all this information which I want. Any time, day, any days of the month, first week of every month, whatever your manager or your team says, just configure this, test this, and let me run it in front of you and showcase it to you. Right? See now, it has started running. Let's expand. Yes, yes. 42. Earlier it was 38. Now it has loaded the data. Right? It has loaded the data. Let's go back to the Snowflake. Let's go back to the Snowflake and see. Let's go back to the Snowflake and see. 40 records were there. Just refresh. Bang on, 42. Let's run this and let's see the magic which is happening over here. Yes. Scheduler I have ran. Right? See the schedule. Orchestration and transformation. Both has been run. Both has been ran. You cannot apply a scheduler on a transformation job. So I want to apply Anand. So what I did, I created a component called run transformation. And I have added that transformation metadata extraction. So once this run, it will go here, it will run this, and it will append to the target. And it will append to the target. What is this delete table? This is nothing but whatever temporary table you are creating, it will delete it at the end. It will delete it at the end. Right? So entire job ran and you have a full-fledged Snowflake table, everything details. You can keep a track of the entire Matillion thing, a project which is happening. Right? Which is happening here. Yes, our AWS should be up. Think we want to go in a house. We can only enter if the gate is open. Yes, your AWS should be up and running. Your Matillion server should be up and running for this entire audit log project to come it here live. And it will keep on. Now I don't have to do. Next Sunday, this will automatically run. Next Sunday, automatically run. Now what you have to do it, let me tell you how you will implement this project. You will go to your Matillion. You will create your own version, dev test, right? Right, dev test, and you will export this job. Suppose if I am deleting it, I'll just delete it. Delete. Sorry. I'll just delete. I'll create a folder. I'll delete it. I'm a new member. I have gone through the project. Right. Right click. Click on import. Right. Select it. Select it. First of all, API you have to export. You have to configure in the API profile with the URL. Then you have to configure this API logging. Right. Then where is API logging? Then you open this API logging and automatically you should see the file and you just need to, if you get this error, why this error will come? You just refresh the Matillion page because we are in the trial version. So Matillion will kick you out. Many times it will happen. So don't worry. Do not reach out to me asking for I'm getting an error in the JSON file. There's no error in the JSON file. EC2 user is the instance. Password is your instance ID. Login. Yeah. Then you try exporting it. So this is how the audit login happens in the industry. When I was working at EXL service, at that particular point, I have implemented this. That's the reason I'm showcasing it to you. Once you're done, you are set for the lifetime. Until unless you stop the scheduler. Right? Until unless you have stopped the scheduler. Go to your version. Manage version. I'm already in the test. Right click. Import, browse, Matillion API logging. Bang on. See, error goes off. Just select whatever you want and then just select the environment and click on OK. Right? Your entire project is ready. Right? Double click it. Just need to revalidate and you have to configure it. That's all. Just you have to configure it with your, go to right click, manage job variable, and job variable is gone. Oh, I didn't exported the job variable. My bad. Oh, I didn't exported the job variable. When I was exporting it, I forgot to export the job variable. Okay, let me go back here again. And yeah, I've given this job variable in the document, so you don't have to worry. Just create this 4 job variable, okay? Go here, go here, go here. Metadata extraction and this. Both I have shared with you. SQL script also and this also. Both I have shared with you. Right click, manage job variable and feed these values. These are very, very important. Feed your S3 bucket, feed your user, EC2 user, feed your instance ID and give any number value. Right? And environment, you can configure it. Right? Now, this is the problem. When you export any JSON file, na, see this. Duplicate environment gets created. Right? So just delete it. Whichever you are seeing number 1, na, just delete it. Yeah. Okay. So if I change the environment, if I select this as the environment, so what will happen? There in the endpoint, still it is AWS only. So I have to change the environment there also in my API. Right? There also in my API, manage API profile, manage extract profile, and then metadata API, lineage, settings, next, specify the instance name, EC2 user, go to parameter and give the password as Tony. Endpoint. Why I change the endpoint? Because this is a different user. Why I change an endpoint? Because this is a different user. This is a different user. Now you see. Now you see what is the next. You see this. Environment name has been changed. Right? Environment name has been changed. Environment name has been changed. AWS clone 001. Right? This was previously clone 001. So that's why it is taking it. Environment name has been changed. Click on next. Click on next. Click on next. Click on finish. Click on OK. Click on OK. I'll go to the Suraj version now. Manage version. Or I'll go to, yeah, I'll switch the version. Suppose Suraj is running this project. Let me revalidate. Revalidate. Already I have configured it. Now I'll try running this job directly. Yeah. What is error? It's good to get error sometime. ODS insufficient privilege access to operate on table ODS lineage. Oh, I have not given him the access. Right? This particular user, I have not given him the access. That's why. Many times if you get this, insufficient privileges to operate on table ODS lineage log, that means this particular user, Suraj, whosoever is Tony, manage environment. If you go here, manage, edit environment. If you go here, Tony, yes, user Tony, right? So I have to give him the necessary privilege on this particular table, ODS lineage table, right? So what I can do, I can quickly go here. User, where is Tony? Tony. I can go here. Grant role, user Tony. Tony, grant usage on table. Let me copy this. Let me copy this. Grant. What is the grant I have to give? Create table. Grant create table on schema, demo schema to user. If I say user underscore Tony, let me see if the privileges unexpected user. 1 second. Let me grant, insert, update, delete on alt, demo schema only, right? To role which user he's a part of. He's a part of Tony. User is a part of data role US. Data role US. Data role US. Let me run all of this. Yeah. Let me see what all grants this person has. Data analyst role US, user Tony, data analyst role. Okay. Data analyst role. Let me go back to my Matillion now. Let me see if I can run this. Still the same error. 1 minute. Manage edit environment. Next. Data analyst role US. Find demo warehouse, demo database, demo schema. Why? Insufficient privilege to operate on table ODS lineage log. ODS lineage log. 1 minute. Where is ODS lineage log? ODS lineage log. Select on all tables in which this is in the demo schema. Already this has begun. 1 second. Grant role. Show grant, show grant, show grants to user Tony. Grant role US. Show grants to grant role US. What all grants is there? Okay, create table. Okay, create tables, fine. Demo database, demo schema, all these things. Update, insert, select, update, insert. Let me see now. Still, if it gives me, then I have to see. Something is not working. Insufficient privilege to operate on table ODS lineage log. Why this error came? 1 minute. Grant, insert, update, grant, create table. 1 minute. Grant, create table. Correct only. ODS lineage log. Let's create table, grant table on. Already this role has been given. I have to check. No worries. I have to check this. Maybe some code I might have not written. Let's see this. Let me change the environment. Then try. Maybe that has an access issue. I'm not given the access. That's why. Now let me see. Yeah, 44 now. So Suraj has run this. In the environment of Suraj, he has run this. Now your table, if you see it here, 42, refresh it. It will be 44. Right? So now you'll see that particular Suraj has logged into the system in the top row. You see this Suraj? He was the latest one who ran the code. Right? He was the latest one. Even the timestamp it will show. Log timestamp, end timestamp, log duration 2 seconds it ran. Now if I refresh the Power BI, let's go back to the Power BI report quickly. How Power BI I have connected? So if you see this data I have connected the final table I have taken it here. Right? I have taken directly the table here. Correct? So I'll just click on refresh. Bang on. 63, 8, and 11. Suraj has increased by 2 seconds. Right? So this is how we do audit logging project in Matillion with the help of Snowflake, and you can have a beautiful dashboard. Here I'm just showing you the total duration which is running by every user. You can customize this. Right? What is in the JSON file? JSON file contains, see, for example, your Alexa is a device, right? So it will generate all the logs internally. That is in the form of your JSON file. That is in the form of JSON file. Lecture number 39. Please refer my lecture number 39. If you go here, entire thing I have discussed here. Sorry for the music. Go here, go to channel, go to playlist, go to lecture number 39. View full playlist. And entire, I have discussed this lecture number 39. Now, this entire information, environment name, environment details, user is hidden in the form of JSON. Anytime you log file, what does log file contains? JSON data. Log file contains JSON data. So here I have handled it very, very clearly, right? So you will understand it clearly here. You will understand it clearly, right? You will understand it clearly how to extract a JSON file, right? How to extract a JSON file. You see this? You remember this use case which I was discussing? A customer used to smoke e-cigarette. E-cigarette has a log data. Even your Alexa, if you see the log of your Alexa devices, all it will be a JSON file. All it will be a JSON file, right? Bucket in S3, nothing. It's a staging file. Staging file will get stored over there. It's just meant for the staging purpose. If you see it here, if you see the API extract, this is just meant for the staging purpose, right? This is just meant for the staging purpose. Location, just meant for the staging purpose, right? Just meant for the staging purpose. Go to the help section and see, right? Go to the help section and see. Target table, schema, database, integration. Which was the property? Property was the location. So if you see the location, storage location. Provide an S3 bucket path, AWS only. If you are configured with GCP, GCP only. Or Azure, Azure only. That will be used to store the data. A folder will be created at this location with the same name as the target table. With the same name as the target table. With the same name as the target table, okay? So folder will be created with the same name as the target table. Let's see. What is the folder name which they have created it here? In the Matillion class. Any data is there? Staging. No objects here. We have not loaded. So folder with the same name, staging is just will be created here. We are not saving the end data, no? That's why. Just used for the staging purpose, intermediary purpose. No data are being saved. If you want to save that, you can rewrite here itself. You can rewrite it here itself. Final data, if you want to stage back, use the component accordingly and stage the data here. Right? Correct? This is for the different session which I have taken before. Okay. So this is for that particular purpose. It is being used. Where is my Matillion file? Now at the end, what I am doing? At the end, I am just deleting this table. Temp lineage. The temporary table which I have created here. This one. Right? Log new. The table which you are seeing where entire the JSON data is being fed here. Temp lineage log new. This is the one. 38 rows which you see it here. Now it's 41 rows. Right? See this. This is only we are extracting it. Got my point? This is the one which we are extracting it. This is the one which we are extracting it. Okay. If I do select star, this is the one which we are extracting. This is a very, very important project which all you have to mention it in your resume. Yeah, see this. So this is how we are extracting. Now you want to extract the name. So this is hidden, nested JSON. So with the help of flatten component, we can extract this. And what is the equivalent XML? What is the equivalent SQL file? What is the equivalent SQL file? Equivalent SQL file is here. Equivalent SQL file is here. This is how we do it. Okay, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. Clear? This is how we do it. You would use the lateral flatten component, right? You use take a value, input the I value, and accordingly you keep on extracting. And this is how we are renaming it dynamically. Whichever data type is there, end timestamp. If you want a number, end timestamp. Accordingly, you take it. This I have discussed already in lecture number 39. That's why. But no need of doing this. You are not a SQL developer. You are a Matillion developer. Try to do it in the Matillion way. What? We will extract one component called nested, extract nested data. Extract nested data. Right? Extract nested data. And this is the SQL. It is generating it for you. This is the SQL. It is generating. Same SQL. Whatever just now you see the lateral flatten, lateral flatten, lateral flatten. Automatically Matillion gives you. That's the power which Matillion holds. Everyone, those who are in a data engineering, this is the tool you should learn. There's enormous amount of earning in this tool. If you are experienced, 3 to 4 years experience, above 20 LPA, you can expect easily being a Snowflake and Matillion developer. Right? So those who are in the Power BI for 3 years, come out of Power BI. Now the time has come to switch into the data engineering. Entire data analytics experience, I will make sure it is get counted into the data engineering. So feel free to reach out to me. Now, what you will mention in your resume, that also I'm telling you, which no one will tell you. what you have to mention in the resume, I'm telling you straight away. These 3 lines should go into your resume, right? Design and implemented an end-to-end metadata logging framework in Matillion, automating the capture of SQL execution log via Matillion Metadata API. What exactly we are tracking, guys? We are tracking Matillion metadata. Develop ETL framework to store and manage SQL execution data in Snowflake, ensuring data traceability, auditability, and performance monitoring. This is the best project, any ETL project which you can mention in your resume. All the newcomers, those who are having 2-3 years experience, this is the project which I would like to see in your resume. Right? Web Hub, definitely you should mention this. Try executing it. All the file, everything PDF I have shared. Optimize API integration and data pipeline efficiency, reducing metadata retrieval latency and improving SQL logging accuracy. Here, one more matrix. I have not added it. What you can do it? You can create in the calculator component. You can create in the calculator component. What you can do? In the calculator component, you can go directly and you can add one attribute called what? Cost. How you'll get the cost? Run duration multiplied by $2.23 per credit per hour. Whatever the Matillion is there, whatever Matillion charges you the pricing, multiply by that, and you can also enable the cost here. 2.250 per credit per hour. So for whatever seconds it ran, you can imagine the cost, right? You can take the cost also from here, and you can have one table called cost table. Do not get confused with Snowflake user history. Snowflake user history is just meant for the Snowflake users. Whatever you are using in the Snowflake UI, Matillion audit project is what you are doing it in the Matillion. Do not get confused with this Snowflake query history. And by the way, Snowflake has come up with a new update. You all know. You have a connector tool to Snowflake, right? Earlier, you used to go to the admin section and do. Now, you have to just go to the profile. Entire picture is ready here. Connectivity, account URL, which is the role, which is the username, everything. It gives you the config file, right? Everything, driver, SQL command, everything, current warehouse. So this is a very great update which Snowflake has come up in 2025. That's all I have for today. Just execute this. Anytime anyone has any doubt, feel free to reach out to me. Entire code, description, everything I have given in this video itself, in the description of this video. Entire PDF is there. Nicely I have made it. You won't be having any problem. Follow the steps. Go through these steps. Right? I have given entirely what value you have to replace with. Step by step I have given. Step by step with screenshot, proper screenshot. What value you need to configure it in the created job variable as a part of JSON. Pass the values accordingly. Right? See this. Username, instance ID, password, your bucket name. Follow this approach, you will not do any mistake. Only you should be aware, do not give the username and password of Snowflake. You have to give the username password of your Matillion because this is Matillion API SQL logging, right? And whichever column you don't want. Suppose client doesn't want the environment name or client doesn't want the job name, uncheck this job name. Whatever I have ticked it, that particular file, I'm keeping it in the output. Right? All the calculator component, everything I'm showcasing it to you with the final output. Right? Entire day has gone into this. Imagine, entire day has gone into this. Low many error. Now you won't get any error. Export the JSON file, import the JSON file into yours, and then start working on this. And do let me know if you feel any issue. Clear? Right? Vaibhav, Swati, Ayush, everyone. Is it clear? Those who are watching me live everywhere. Satyam, try to implement this also since you are watching live on LinkedIn. Okay. Right? Anyone has any doubt? So this is completely audit logging project. This was very, very required for me, for all of you to do this. And even I've told you what to mention in your resume. So go ahead and mention that particular part. Okay. Clear? I mentioned this. So these are the 3 things which you need to mention in your resume. And explain this project nicely to the stakeholder. Why we have used Matillion API profile? Because the URL is fed via API. Where we are configuring all these endpoints, parameters. So all these parameters which we are configuring it with the help of API profile, extract profile. Here it is. That JSON file also I have given it to you. So this we need to configure it. Right? The parameter which you are seeing it. This is the main thing. Right? This is the main thing which we said the parameters accordingly. Right? Always give your username is your EC2 user, password is your instance ID. So this is via this URL, your entire data is being fed. Entire data is being fed. Now this may come from the client requirement usually, and accordingly you need to configure it as per your. You may be working in different project. URL is same, different project. different project name, different environment, right? Accordingly, you will choose it. Right? Accordingly, you will choose it. So this is was all about Matillion. Do not forget to schedule this. That's a very, very important. Ask from your team member when they want to get it scheduled so that accordingly it will run. Accordingly, it will run at that particular day. Right? Correct? You can schedule it accordingly. I have scheduled it for the next Sunday. That's all. Okay? That's all, guys. That's all from my side. So if you want to enroll in Matillion, go ahead, check out analyticswithanand.in. You have a full-fledged Matillion course here, which you can go and have a look. Okay, happen. Yes, this is a full-fledged, right? Just 3,500 rupees, not much. You will learn a Matillion, entire in-depth you will be able to learn here. And you get the previous recording also. That's all from my side, guys. Do subscribe to this channel if you have not done so. Right, we have reached out now. We are reaching 25,000 subscribers. So that's a very, very great achievement. Usually I try to come here very often, but due to my work and everything, doesn't get time. Plus, I have to prepare a lot because everything I do it here is live. So spread the word and do subscribe to this channel. Keep learning. And if you have 2 to 3 years of experience, now the time has come up to move out of Power BI and go to the ETL development role. Okay, that's all.